Welcome back to our YouTuber Karting Championship Round 4. Today, we are at Daytona Sandown Park. We are in the D-Max karts. It is, I think, like a 10-minute, 15-minute quali and then 40-minute race.
What happened last time we were in D-Max karts, Aldas?
Let's not talk about that. Actually, I won.
In D-Max karts at Sandown.
Oh, okay, Sandown. We don't talk about Sandown, but Milton Keynes last time out, I did take the dub.
For some reason, I'm very confident today. I'm very, very confident. In fact, I know I'm going to beat Aldas. I don't even just know I'm going to beat him. He's done already. I'm going to finish his whole YouTube career on this one race.
This man does more talking than winning. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, round 4, here we go. The fighting talk starting very early in this race, clearly. Here we are at the beginning of the race. Yet again, it's yet another rolling start. I qualified in P4 with JB just ahead of me. I must be honest, Sandown is not one of my favourite tracks. I prefer Milton Keynes where we were last time out. And JB does usually have a tenth or two over me around Sandown. But nevertheless, here we go, beginning to the race. Looking at the lights, and here they go, green, and the race is a go. I get a really good launch and straight away try going for a gap. Think about putting 2 wheels on the grass, but nothing quite there. However, going into turn 1, I am P2 momentarily, but go wide and have a snap of oversteer as well and understeer and go down and drop down to P5. It wasn't a great corner, just a little bit too hot. But I do see the opportunity to dive down the inside straight away and go for it there. So, yeah, really nice move, kind of recovering from my sub-optimal start at turn 1. And here we go, finally trying to chase down the top 3. Now, again, at the beginning of this race, I must be honest, I didn't have as much pace as I wanted. I kind of grew into the race and was a lot quicker later on. But skipping over to a few laps later, actually on lap 4, you can see that the front 3 have actually kind of gapped me a little bit. And again, I just didn't have that kind of pace at the beginning of the race, but I did actually get better and quicker as the race went on. But it was a little bit frustrating because I felt like I could fight for the win, but you can see me just getting dropped just a little bit. Now, there was actually something, however, this race kind of went downhill just a little bit, unfortunately for me, on this lap. Because once we work our way through these next couple of corners, I'm not a big fan of this infield section, actually, at Daytona. It's just a bunch of hairpins. But once we go past here, on the gantry, someone is getting black flagged. And I see the numbers, and the only numbers I see are 1 and 8. I look over at my number, and I see the 1 and 8. So I think that I'm getting black flagged, and I don't know why that has happened. I come in, and the marshal tells me basically that it was not my number. It was 138 that was black flagged, and I'm 148. So, oh my god. Absolute disaster. Absolute bozo moment by me. And look, I'm down in P8. So, this was just a massive mistake by me. I just saw the numbers and kind of glanced at them at the last second on the gantry, and it was absolutely horrible. So let's take a look at a replay of what happened because, yeah, this was a bad moment. So again, I see it quite late on the gantry. I just see a few numbers. I see the 1 and the 8. I look over and I see 1 and 8 on my car and think it's my number, and I don't know why I'm getting black flagged. And yes, unfortunately, it wasn't me. The marshal says it was another car. So that is a terrible start by me. I mean, it was my fault, to be honest, but yeah, absolutely embarrassing. El Aldas. Comment that in the comments. That was terrible by me. But what that does mean is that I have a hell of a lot of work to do. Down in PA, I already have a lot of overtaking coming up to these 3 karts. Watching these 2 battle, and again, it's just about losing as little time as possible. Already I'm focusing on the exit here, so taking a nice wide line, taking 1 car on the inside, and here is absolutely fantastic. I tried to overtake this guy, and he overtakes the guy ahead of him, and we go 3 wide into turn 1. I go down the inside, and a brilliant overtake by me. That was so much fun because, yeah, 3 wide into the quickest corner on the track. Trust me, that is definitely sketchy, but yeah, luckily I managed to pull it off. I stayed on the inside, didn't run wide either, and run into them, so that was a brilliant overtake to start my race. Up into P5 already by lap 10. I know the guys, it's going to be obviously very difficult to fight for the win now because, yeah, I had to stop for a good maybe like 20 seconds or something in those pits. Again, watching this car ahead of me, and I'm just thinking about the exit. That's all I'm thinking about. I got most of my overtaking done on this straight, actually, either just with really good runs out the corner like you can see here, just pulling out the slipstream, or even just into turn 1 because you can take it flat out, but it's good to kind of get a little bit of a lift to kind of settle the car. And once again, even more overtaking, a massive pack of karts, and one dives down the inside, almost overtakes the guy in the middle. I get a really good run here and overtake the guy in the yellow helmet. I can see my opportunity diving down the inside, so I managed to pull that one off and also just get it all kind of sorted out at the apex as well. Already looking at the guy ahead, I had a much better run out of this corner, and again, I'm just waiting for him to brake. I know I'm going to dive down the inside, then he brakes, and I brake a little bit later. And again, just I got a bit of a bump actually there from the back. So yeah, it could have been sketchy, but luckily, yeah, managed to get 2 places in the space of just a few corners. Moving over to lap 16, and this is actually really important because if you look at the kart in the grey, this was actually a friend of mine and JB's who was there with us on the day, Dhruv, and he is a very experienced karter. He has also raced in D-Max, and I know that he is quick, so this is not going to be easy. We managed to get past the red car, and the blue car here, Dhruv goes around the outside, and I knew that Dhruv was going to be difficult to overtake because he is a quick guy, and he's also quite light as well. He takes it around the outside. I think about following him, but I don't think the blue car sees me. I almost get sent into the barriers. I put my arm up, but to be honest, looking back, that was my fault. I mean, he wouldn't have known that it was me. I do give him actually a bit of attitude there, just when I overtake him, squeeze him into the tyres, but yeah, that was actually more my fault, to be brutally honest. He wouldn't have known that I'm going to try to overtake him around the outside, but yeah, that could have been a game over. At this point, I'm chasing down Drew, but you can see he dives it down the inside and gets it completely wrong, and he manages to lose the position, and I am very, very happy with that because that makes my job a hell of a lot easier. So, yeah, Drew went for an overtake. I think it was just a little bit too late. Here I get a massive run. I think that guy was actually a bit bigger, let's just say. So, yeah, not quite as good on the straight. Now, yet again, more kind of really interesting racing. You can see we're passing a back marker here, and I overtake him, and I completely forget about him. And as I turn in, bang, he almost dives down the inside and takes me out. I don't know what he was thinking there, or why he was like braking so late, but legit, that could have been my race over. So yeah, back marker madness, ladies and gentlemen. It just never stops. But yeah, luckily I don't manage to lose too much time, but legit could have got taken out of the race right then. But yeah, we're chasing up to these two guys in the blue suit first of all. Again, you can see both of them running a little bit wide. I'm trying to look, should I go inside, outside? Of course I go for the inside, trying to get down the inside of both of these karts. Get one. The blue car goes a little bit wide here, although my car isn't quite settled as well. I tried to kind of just follow him through and see if I can kind of just see where I can overtake him. A little bit too far back at this point, I think, to dive it down the inside. So I wait again for the straight. He goes very wide here. Almost kind of, a little bit of a bump there as well. And here I'm straight, so I'm lining up the inside. I absolutely send it down the inside, but he holds it around the outside really well. And that compromises my run on the straight. And look who's here. There, through comes Dhruv down the inside, and I lose the position to him in turn 1. That is an absolute nightmare. So yeah, battling, had a poor exit. I tried to go around the outside of the guy in the blue suit, or around the inside, I should say, and that was an absolute catastrophe. Now, both of them are battling here, and this is quite interesting because Dhruv goes around the outside, and that guy thinks I'm going to do the same, and I switch back on him. That was really actually quite fun because I knew he was going to try and swipe across and defend where Dhruv overtook him, and I just swiped across the other side and overtook him on the inside. So that was actually quite a fun move, I am not going to lie. But once again, I am in P5, right behind Dhruv, and I know that I'm not going to get an easy overtake here, so I'm putting a lot of pressure on him already. Dhruv knows that I'm behind him, and here it is. Going onto the main straight, Dhruv goes a little bit wide onto the rumble strips. I get a beautiful exit, and I am straight past him. That is absolutely fantastic. I was buzzing with that because I didn't want to lose too much time with Dhruv, and that is me up into P4, so a very decent recovery. Now, if you thought the backmarker madness was over, ladies and gentlemen, think again, because then we came up to this guy in the red. Straight away, he made a bit of a mistake into turn 1, went a little bit wide, and look, he's already actually at this point, looking over, and he knows where I am, and look, he almost squeezes me into the barriers. I do try to break it, but the rear of the car, I lock up a little bit and just lose the rear of the car, so I can't quite make it stick. And then watch what he does here. So I use the wider line to try and get more speed. I do exactly that. I go down the inside. I'm basically ahead of him. And look what he does. He steers into me, into the apex, almost taking me out. Alain Prost into Ayrton Senna, Suzuka 1989. I am fuming with that. So I think about sending it down the inside, but I don't actually do it because I know he's going to crash me off. And I am fuming at this point. I mean, what was that move? So as I go past him, I obviously look straight over him, give him a bit of attitude and a piece of my mind. I mean, what was that? Literally could have been murdered right there. I mean, I was honestly like fully ahead of him, and he still turned into me way before the corner. So yes, just another day of backmarker madness. Anyway, these two are battling very intensely, and again, I'm just looking for my opportunity down the inside of one, making sure to get a good exit, and down the around the outside of another one as well. It's all about just getting, I've got a bit of a weight advantage and I'm quite light, so it's all about just getting the best run on the straights. And here moving over to lap 31, and again, I'm just looking for my opportunity. This guy goes a little bit wide, and I get a really nice run, a little bit compromised though because of the way he comes back onto the track. And this was actually really interesting because I don't necessarily overtake him into turn one, but I pressure him into a mistake. I put my nose in, and you can see he just runs wide and does the rest. And that is a real thing when you put pressure on drivers, that they kind of just make mistakes by themselves. Now, this is actually a hell of a lot later because we move on from lap 32 to lap 46. So I had a good amount of laps of just grinding in clean air, putting in really solid laps, my best laps of the entire race. And finally, with 2 laps to go, I catch up to this driver in the blue suit and yellow helmet, which is actually a McLaren Lewis Hamilton tribute helmet. And this is the driver in P3. So I'm fighting for the podium. I have clawed my way back after that black flag shenanigans. But can I catch him in the next 2 laps? You can see ahead he's fighting. He thinks about going around the outside. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. He spins it. He makes a mistake. And that is an absolute godsend. That is brilliant. That is me up into P3. He made the mistake. Grazie, ragazzi. That was absolutely beautiful. And then, oh yeah, this guy also just locks up and has a half spin as well. But he does save it, to be fair. And that was unbelievable. I mean, I was chasing him down and I really did have the pace to overtake him, but you don't know at the time how many laps you have. But yes, that was a very, very lucky podium for me. I pressured him into the mistake, but that doesn't matter. Here we go across the line, finishing the race. And oh my God, what a race it was. Black flag drama, almost getting killed by a bunch of back markers. I mean, I could have been gone. And in the end, I finish in P3 and also give JB a little wave as well, as he finished in P2. So here are the final standings at the end of that race. Yes, with 2 laps to go, I just managed to get that podium and jump up into P3, with JB finishing ahead of me in P2. Now, as I always say, go check out the link at the very top of the description. That will be the link to JB's perspective, because he had also a pretty interesting race, to say the least, with also an off-track excursion. Now, as you can see, I just missed out on the fastest lap by just half a tenth compared to the guy that won it, Alec. I finished 19 seconds behind him, and again, to be honest, without that ridiculous black flag, I really do think that maybe towards the end of the race, I could have challenged him and I did have the pace for the win. But nevertheless, I mean, back to P3, I am buzzing after what was a horrible mistake by me. That means I score 8 points, with JB scoring 9 points in the penultimate race. And in terms of what this means for the championship going into the final round, into the title decider, it means that we are both on 33 points. We go into the final race on the same number of points. You can't script this, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Abu Dhabi 2021 all over again. And to be honest, it's absolutely perfect. I could not believe that we actually went into the final round on the same number of points, but it could not be better. So yes, that is it. It all kind of resets to 0, and it is winner takes all for the title decider next time out. That is it, round 4 over. P3 for me, P2 for him. Yeah, it wasn't the best race. A total bozo moment by me when I had to come in. Well, no, I didn't need to come in, and I did, so potentially I could have finished in front of him, but that now means, with you in P2 and me in P3, we go into the final round equal on points. I think it's 33 points each. I mean, I'm feeling good. I mean, that was a bad race by me, but I'm feeling good about the final race.
This guy can do whatever he wants, right? He can drop his weight down as much as he fancies. He can kart as often as he wants. Doesn't matter. I'm still here. They thought I was out of the game at 90 kilograms. I'm still here. I told you I'd win. I told you.
The final round. This is not scripted. We do go into the final race equal on points. Winner takes all. We'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. And also don't forget to check out JB's footage in the comments box below. Round 5 finale. We'll see you there.